What if I told you that almost every single face from this beloved Western is gone now? The Rifleman gave us a widowed dad and his young son surviving on grit, gunfights, and love in a dusty little town called North Fork. It felt simple on the surface, but underneath it was really about family holding together when the world kept trying to break it apart. Stick around, because one name on this list traded his rifle for something you would never expect. And by the end, you will understand why this cast stayed with people for over 60 years. Number 1, we have the man who was the whole show, the steady hand behind that famous rifle. He was only in his late 30s when he took the role, but he made it feel like he had lived that hard frontier life his whole time on Earth. That's Chuck Connors, and he turned Lucas McCain into something more than a gunslinger. He made him a father you actually believed in. Connors kept working for decades after the show ended, but the years eventually caught up to him. In 1992, lung cancer took him at 71. The man who made an entire generation feel safe watching a Western is gone, but that rifle twirl he made famous will probably outlive all of us. Number 2, we have a marshal who never once tried to look like a hero, and that is exactly why people trusted him. Paul Fix played Micah Torrance, the lawman of North Fork, bringing decades of quiet frontier experience from working alongside John Wayne in film after film. He carried that same weathered honesty into every episode. Fix passed away in 1983 at 82 after kidney failure took hold. He never needed to be the fastest gun in the room. He just needed to feel real, and he did. Number 3, we have a face you would swear you had seen 100 times, even if you could never place the name. Bill Quinn played Frank Sweeney, one of those background town fixtures who made North Fork feel lived in rather than built on a studio lot. He kept working steadily for years, popping up as neighbors and doctors in show after show. In 1994, a heart attack ended his story at 81. You do not remember Bill Quinn's name, but you remember his face, and that was always the job he was best at. Number 4, we have someone whose second act is so wild you will not believe it belongs to the same person. He spent his Rifleman days playing a friendly small-town blacksmith named Nils Swenson, full of warmth and simple decency. That was Joe Higgins, and here is the twist. This same actor later became Sheriff J.W. Pepper, the loud, over-the-top comic lawman chasing James Bond across 2 different 007 films. Go from a quiet frontier blacksmith to bumbling around a Bond movie. That is a career pivot almost nobody saw coming. Higgins died in 1998 at 72 from a heart attack, but he left the screen having played both a small-town everyman and one of Bond's most memorable comic relief characters. If a story like that surprised you, drop a comment telling us which cast member shocked you the most. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Number 5, we have the banker nobody paid much attention to, and that was the whole point. Harlan Ward played John Hamilton, bringing calm, buttoned-up order to a town full of gunfights and danger. He built a long career playing officials and businessmen, the steady types every show needs. In 1980, a heart attack took him at just 62. He was not the man with the gun, but without characters like his, North Fork would have felt like chaos with no floor under it. Number 6, we have the woman who gave this rugged Western a little bit of softness without ever feeling out of place in it. Joan Taylor played Millie Scott, bringing warmth and quiet strength into Lucas McCain's world. What is surprising is what she did after acting. She moved behind the camera entirely and became a writer and producer, shaping stories instead of just appearing in them. Taylor lived a long, full life and passed away in 2012 at 82 from natural causes. Think about that for a second. This show wrapped over 60 years ago, and she still had 5 more decades of life left to build after it. Number 7, we have the neighborhood gossip everybody in North Fork probably both loved and avoided. Hope Summers played Hattie Denton, the nosy, sweet, endlessly chatty presence who made the town feel like a real neighborhood instead of a movie set. You might actually know her better from a completely different classic show, since she later became a familiar face as Clara Edwards on The Andy Griffith Show. Summers died in 1979 at 83 after heart failure. She never fired a gun on this show, but she made North Fork feel like somewhere people actually lived. Number 8, we have North Fork's doctor, the man everyone turned to when things went wrong. Ralph Moody played Doc Burridge, with a gentleness that made him feel like he had genuinely patched up every kind of frontier wound imaginable. He spent decades as a character actor, often the wise elder in whatever story he stepped into. Moody died in 1971 at 84 of natural causes, making him one of the earliest cast members to pass. We drop new stories like this every 2 days, so if you want more then and now breakdowns like this one, subscribing costs nothing and helps a lot. Number 9, we have a face built for trouble, sharp and nervy in every scene he touched. John Harmon played Eddie Halstead, and he spent his career being the guy who looked like he was up to something. Clerks, crooks, shopkeepers, always with a little edge. He died in 1985 at 80 after suffering a stroke. Small role, big personality, and that combination is exactly why casting directors kept calling him for decades. Number 10, we have the kind of actor who could make a room feel dangerous just by walking into it. John Milford played Bro Hadley, bringing a hard, lean Western stare that put tension into every scene he shared with Lucas McCain. He spent his career as the trouble that always seemed to be following someone. Milford lost his battle with cancer in 2000 at 72. Peace never lasted long in North Fork, and somehow it never lasted long for the actors who played the danger either. Number 11, we have a face so intense it could turn an ordinary scene serious in seconds flat. John Anderson played Cass Callicott, and he built one of the most reliable character actor careers in television, sliding between westerns, dramas, and mysteries for decades without ever losing that quiet weight he carried. In 1992, the same year Chuck Connors passed, a heart attack took Anderson too, at 69. Two men who helped define this show's toughness, gone the very same year. Number 12, we have the guy you were never supposed to trust the moment he walked on screen. Chris Alcade played Ross, and he built a career out of playing outlaws and heavies you could spot from a mile away. He worked steadily for decades in westerns and crime dramas before a heart attack took him in 2004 at 80. You needed someone like Ross to make North Fork feel unpredictable, and Alcade knew exactly how to deliver that. Number 13, we have a gentle, familiar face that fans would later fall in love with all over again in a completely different show. Dabbs Greer played Finney here, but you probably remember him best as Reverend Alden on Little House on the Prairie. He built a reputation as one of television's most trusted character actors, the kind of presence that made any scene feel a little more human. Greer lived to 90 before kidney failure took him in 2007, making him one of the longest-living members of this entire cast. If you have not already, now is a good time to share this video with someone who grew up watching this show. They will want to see this list. Number 14, we have the heart of the entire series, the boy audiences watched grow up in real time. Johnny Crawford was only 12 years old when he played Mark McCain, and he gave the show its emotional core. Every single gunfight meant more because you could see how much this kid loved his father. Crawford kept working in music and acting long after the show ended, but his final years grew quietly heartbreaking as Alzheimer's disease slowly took hold. He died in 2021 at 75. Think about it. Over 60 years passed between that scared, loyal kid on your screen and the man who left us in 2021 still fighting to hold on to himself. Number 15, we have the woman who brought fresh confidence into North Fork without ever needing to raise her voice. Patricia Blair played Lou Mallory, giving the show charm and backbone alongside real romantic tension with Lucas McCain. She went on to become even more familiar to Western fans through her role on Daniel Boone. Blair passed away in 2013 at 80 after a battle with breast cancer, closing out the story of a cast that gave television one of its most enduring families. And here is the part that might stay with you longest. Every single actor on this list, who once sat around a fake campfire in North Fork pretending to be a family, has now passed away in real life, and the only family left standing is the one still watching reruns of the show. Which Rifleman cast member stuck with you the most? Tell us below, and subscribe so you never miss the next one. We post stories like this every 2 days.